Welcome to round 15 of Eat the Buckle, the horror movie battle royale podcast that puts two movies in a weekly head-to-head matchup where the loser will remain in the ring another week, and we will be forced to watch it repeatedly until there is one movie left standing in an effort to determine the worst horror movie ever made. This week, in the third matchup of our special Christmas season down, we have returning for a third time 1997's Jack Frost versus 1989's Elves. With me, as always, are my two co-hosts, who definitely know the difference between a snowman and a snow woman, Aaron and Josh. Gentlemen, how are you this week?
Fantastic. I'm in the Christmas spirit. It's been a lovely week. As of today, I'm officially on Christmas vacation.
Woo!
So yeah, I'm good.
Got
And
your
I'm
Santa
ready to
hat
rock.
on.
Got my Santa hat on.
Very festive.
Very
I've got mine.
festive.
I do not have a Santa hat on, but I do have red and green lights blasting down on me from my ceiling.
Yeah. It's I feel like someone's about to sneak up behind you with like a giallo black glove murderer and strangle you to death.
Yeah, it kind of I thought it kind of looked like original like series Star Trek, like where they would throw the purple, red, and green on the solid gray walls to try to do something with the sets. But with as dark as this camera looks, it very much looks like Rob Zombie's going to send a disfigured human around the corner very shortly to murder me in the worst way possible.
See, to me, it looks like at any minute an inanimate snowman or maybe a 3 foot tall elf could come right up behind you in that chair. And at that point, you'd be toast.
I really hope Dan Haggerty comes back from the grave and helps me build a motorcycle over the weekend.
He'd never make it in time.
What was it with the 80s and small things, small creatures, small toys, just, small villains of horror movies? That kind of went away. Like when did that stop? So, you had your ghoulies, your gremlins, your puppet masters, your elves, it was a big thing.
You have Tybor Takis's The Gate.
The Gate.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of examples. But at what point did that stop? And then
most of Castle or what is it? Full Moon.
Well,
Yeah,
Full Moon was miniatures.
I think Full Moon probably put that into the grave, actually.
Yeah. Child's Play, really, that was it.
Yeah.
I've actually never watched the sci-fi series, but
it's
I think
really good.
At this point, they have probably been there and done that any which way you can think of.
Oh, I don't know. It's
40 years later.
They still find ways to keep it fresh. I watch it. It's supposed to come back soon, I think, but
do they have Jennifer Tilly in that one? Did she
Yeah.
show up for it?
yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's definitely worth watching. I'd say even if you're tangentially a fan of Chucky or not even, it's still it's to the point where and gosh, why can't I think of the guy's name?
Brian Dorff or Brad Dorff?
No, the guy who created it.
Oh,
He's been part of the franchise the entire step of the way through every movie, he's the showrunner of the show. He's written and directed all the movies. So it has his consistency through it. And it's gotten to the point where he knows what he's doing. He's just taking the piss out of it. Chucky's in the White House now.
I think the one episode I did see, it was in the last year, and he was, I think, dying of cancer, but somehow
he's old Chucky
in the White House.
Yeah.
Does he just have liver spots on his forehead?
He does, yeah. Real John Carpenter hair scraggles. But actually, the last season had some good Christmassy episodes. So if you're looking for a show to watch that might give you some Christmas vibes, I'd say check it out. It's fun.
Hey, before we dive into things, I have another Sandy Duncan dough. And I'm glad that you brought up Child's Play to remind me of it. I meant to bring it up a few weeks ago.
Okay.
So on the episode of where we talked about rare exports,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I compared the child actor in that to I said Brad Dorff. And of course I did not mean Brad Dorff, who's
Brett
the
Dourif.
Brad Dourif, who is the actor who plays Chucky, the voice of Chucky, and is an amazing actor. I meant, of course, Hollywood heartthrob Steven Dorff.
Beloved actor Steven Dorff.
Yes, so I would like to apologize to Brad Dourif
To Brett Dourif for comparing.
for for mispronouncing his name when I actually meant Steven Dorff.
I think
I
that's okay. I don't know if that deserves an apology. I think
Okay.
that was just a mistake.
Well, I
just
mean, we can really start sowing all of the wheat or whatever. Oh man, what analogies we're going to come up with this because listener at home, the three of us are tired, pissed off. We're trying to put on a face that we're in the Christmas spirit, but it's going to be very vitriol laced this episode. But I was going to say, uh, Jared didn't think, or Jared misplaced last time that Christmas Evil was 45. It was 47.
Oh, come on.
We can
All
start
right,
doing like Festivus right now in
we
this
can't
episode
do that.
Okay.
and just
Well,
start like
Okay.
shooting at each other.
I
Listen.
think it's more for like telling like someone's dead or has glass eyes so when
Like,
they don't.
Yeah, I say the Sandy Duncan dose exists to where if we get a lot of bile towards someone and it's completely wrong, like
Yeah.
on our part, on our side of it, then we have to come back the next week and be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
I think
Dan Haggerty did have his real hair, or whatever it might be.
yeah. Like
how
if it
dare you tell me who I should and shouldn't apologize to?
like at some point in this episode when I inevitably called Dan Haggerty John Fogerty, I'm not gonna come back and apologize for that. That's just me being a dumbass.
That's fair.
But
what,
I
are we,
would let
what are we talking about bad moods for, guys? I'm in a wonderful mood.
Well,
This week I got to watch not one, but two Christmas horror movies titled Elves. Because we did not specify which year. And
I
there's
thought
four
we did.
different movies
I'm-
at least titled Elves.
I'm pretty certain we specified which one. And
I
in
think-
fact,
I
before
think-
you watched it, I said, "Which one did you guys watch?" And Aaron said 1989 on YouTube.
Well,
I'm
he had
fairly
already
certain.
watched it.
I was the first one to watch it.
Oh,
Yeah, because if you recall, Josh was like, "I'm quitting the podcast."
I watched 2016, 2018, The Elves, and
Well,
then I texted
The sequel
you
to
guys.
Elf, not Will Ferrell's Elf, but the one from 2016.
I can't
Elf?
believe there was a. My mind is blown.
there's too many goddamn movies with the same name. Elf, Elves, Elves, Elf.
Yes, listen. Want to be directors, screenwriters, producers? Please never ever title another horror movie Elves.
There's also
Especially-
multiple Jack Frosts now.
Especially
Yeah.
if your movies don't have elves, plural.
Now I'm looking at the cover art, quote unquote, for Elves, and I do see 3 elves on the movie that you watched by accident. So are you telling me they're lying in the promotional literature?
Listen, the movie that I watched, the plot, briefly, I know we need to get into this.
I'd rather not. Just go ahead.
A group of 30-something playing 20-somethings meet in a warehouse for a
Sounds-
Christmas party.
Mm-hmm.
They play a game called the Naughty List where they all have to write down like the worst thought they've ever had towards another human being and then add their name to the Naughty List. Then this mysteriously weird looking doll, this elf doll, appears and the curse begins. The elf doll doesn't move. It is less animated than Jack Frost. he just appears in scenes sitting on like the counter or like a bookcase, like Elf on
So
a
he's like Elf
Shelf.
on a Shelf. Yeah.
Yes, hideously ugly to the point where like no one would have this thing anything near them without just tearing its head off and throwing it in the garbage. But whenever it appears, the person it's comes after, their face suddenly goes through an Instagram filter to where they get pointed ears and a weird, like big eyes and a toothy grin, and they turn evil, and then they commit whatever act they wrote on the naughty list. At some point, there's an individual, a Krampus-like individual that appears with a goat mask, that starts killing people, and then there's like a weird punk rock girl with red hair that you could clearly tell like the director was just trying to bang the actress, and so he's like, "Here, you could have a role in this movie, and you'll
That's
be a badass."
conjecture.
Yeah.
Um,
Conjecture, allegedly.
it makes absolutely no sense, and it really really
It
made
sounds
me.
better than the fucking thing I watched.
I promise you, it wasn't.
Now, I did go and watch the trailer after I saw the capital cursing text message from you that you had wasted an hour and a half of your life watching this. Was Aubrey Plaza in that movie, or was that just someone done up to look like Aubrey Plaza to be like, oh, she's in this, I'll watch it?
I promise you that you have never seen any actor in that movie in anything else, and hopefully you never will.
What was it on? I'm gonna watch it this
To
weekend.
Tubi.
I'm gonna make Erica's parents watch it for this holiday weekend while they're visiting. And camaraderie and brotherhood with you for having to watch that, I'll join you in your suffrage. And
I took
I am
3
curious.
pages of notes.
Well, I would love to see how it actually compares to the one we watched.
I bet it's all like the Shining style, like Josh is upset and will kill. Josh is upset and will kill.
Listen, we've talked about low budgets in these movies. This one, the budget was so low, they couldn't even afford Christmas decorations. So, like, when they would show like someone's apartment, there would be a nutcracker on the counter and then one single strand of lights just randomly strewn about like as far as they could get it to stretch.
It'd be awesome if it's just the same nutcracker and moved around different set pieces.
It's bizarre, man.
Well, that sounds great. I'm gonna watch it. Should we get into the actual elves?
Yes, because
we're supposed to watch.
I watched it twice.
Wait, okay. So
this
first,
week.
What?
On my own volition, I watched this movie twice. Why? Once by myself, like for the podcast, and I talked it up so much that my wife was intrigued. And last night, I said, "Hey, do you want to watch Elves?" Thinking she'd say, "No, that sounds like garbage." And she said, "Yeah, sure." And brother, I had a hell of a time with it again. I love Elves, and I want Vinegar Syndrome or whoever to get on it and finally do a release of this movie.
All right.
Wow.
Let's preface
interesting.
Let's preface all this before we really dive into it. We will be spoiling these movies. We'll be talking about them from beginning to end. So if you haven't seen them, watch them before you listen to this, if you care. But we highly suggest you go back and listen to our podcast from the very beginning, as it is episodic. And that's the true way you should be listening to it.
And know that we're going to spoil the shit out of it, except when they can't be spoiled or shouldn't be spoiled.
Yes.
Like last week.
Like the ending to Christmas Evil.
All
right, well, let's get into this.
Which is so good. Every time someone thinks about it, they have that reaction where Josh is choking back his swill of beer that he just took. And we're going to have to delay a little bit because that Christmas magic truly puts the three of us back in the spirit for a podcast.
Maybe the moment. Maybe the moment of the year.
Look at that face.
That's from a man who just shat all over that movie.
He loves it.
Let's go.
All right. First movie up is 1989's Elves, written by Jeffrey Mandel, Mike Griffin, and Bruce Taylor, directed by Jeffrey Mandel, starring Grizzly Adams himself, John Fogerty, Dan Haggerty, Julie Austin, Deanna Lund, and Boris Silver. This, as far as I could tell, got very limited theatrical release on October 1989. I could not find a budget or a box office amount for it, so we'll just get into it. It's about a group of teens who unwittingly summon killer elves, and there's some sort of convoluted Nazi inbreeding super race experiment mixed in there for good measure. You get to see Grizzly Adams
Merry
curse.
Christmas.
Do you get to see Grizzly Adams curse and thank people for their time a lot? Yep. Will it eat the buckle? Maybe. Let's find out. Gentlemen, off the top rope. Well, off the top rope, I'm going to say this right now. Whatever stream, it was on YouTube. I checked out like 3 different versions of them. They were all shit. I don't know if it was just the clarity of my TV mixed with the shittiness of the stream, but I will tell you right now, there was a good 35 to 40% of this movie where I could not tell what the fuck was happening. So
it was in the Elf Vision. Anytime it did the Elf Vision, like first person view of it.
Yeah.
What was hilarious is I can't remember the person that uploaded it on YouTube by name, but it was a few years ago. And they had the audacity to actually crank it up to 1080p. Which is hilarious because there's the tracking, there's the Vaseline glaze all over this entire movie.
Oh, I looked like I was watching it through a Jello mold.
Yeah, like
I could not.
Grew up with VCRs.
even in the clearest sections of it. Yeah. I had trouble. Like anytime there were more than one person in a room of the same sex, I couldn't tell who was talking.
It was like a quarter head. VCR was you being used to show that.
So that being said, that's just kind of to preface all this saying, like, I don't know what the fuck happened through the majority of this movie. So
if you have questions, I watched it twice.
I do.
And what's the best is when I do the background for this, I watch it on the desktop. And the desktop, I'm like, I can't see shit on this. Same as Jared. When I put it on the OLED, it actually still looks shitty, but I could see like, oh, hey, that's what that was. And I don't know if it was having watched it before or if it was the clarity of the giant screen, but it's still.
I had it on my regular TV, not the OLED in the basement, but the regular TV I have upstairs, and I could not. If there's a next time, I'm watching it on my laptop.
If you can find,
I don't think it'll make a difference.
The darkest room in your house, listener, and you find the full movie on YouTube, tracking lines and all. That is where you need to witness Elves, 1989 Elves.
Yep. So
I'd just like to say, to preface my take on the movie, Dan Haggerty.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Fogerty.
He's an American treasure.
Yes.
Grizzly Adams.
And I'm going to go ahead and say before we get into the movie, I'm not sure that he knew he was in a movie. I'm pretty sure they just
I think it was
wrote him a letter and said, hey, we'd like to follow you around and basically do a what's he up to piece for Inside Edition or Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah.
And the way he acts in this movie, it's like
it was like what he was up to was trying to find a job, like which is the first 15 minutes of the movie. Yeah. Is him mumbling about needing a job.
It does really seem towards the end of the movie like you're just following your uncle through a fun house.
Yeah. Who always has a cig every scene, but I think one. He has a butt or a lit cig going.
At this point in his life, he was not in good health. I can promise you that.
He lived to be 20, all the way to 2016.
So he was in his 70s when he passed of spinal cancer.
Yeah.
Ugh. That's rough. So
But
this was
I want to get more into him later. I just wanted to start off by
well.
talking about how much I love him.
My first note was that this came out 7 years after the last Grizzly Adams production, which was Grizzly Adams Gets Captured. 7 years. So do you think like, and which I'm sure wasn't huge in the zeitgeist of 1981. So do you think this was a huge get for them? Like they got Dan Haggerty and they're like, hell yeah, that's like, or do you think they had a bunch of people pass on it before
I mean,
Haggerty signed on?
Well,
they,
I would like to also note that it was 7 years after the last Grizzly Adams movie,
Hmm.
and it was about 4 or 5 years after he was sent to jail for selling cocaine to an undercover cop.
yep. And don't sell short Deanna Lunn, who, unless that was a body double, at the age of 51, went totally naked for
Yeah,
this terrible production.
yeah.
Land of the Giants' own
Sick
Deanna
business.
Lunn.
So yeah, did
Do you want me to do?
yeah, please take the reins. I can't think.
Hey guys,
All
I
right.
want to party with the group of high schoolers that look to be premenopausal. Of course, I'm talking about the Sisters of Anti-Christmas.
Yes,
All of the
those.
witches. Yes.
That's how this movie starts.
In
How many?
the first 2 minutes, you know what you're in for. Number one, because we take a trip to the Casio Forest with all the MIDI playing that you know there's not going to be any budget whatsoever. Number two, listener, you hear these lines said. His is bent anyway. Plus, I dreamed those Art Deco boobs. Cool, huh? And given a line read basically what I just said. Exactly how I just said it. So
You maybe had
this
more
is,
oomph behind it.
I know, but to me, sitting here having watched terrible movies over the years, I was like, this is peak fucking cinema right here.
And how many movies have we done so far where a I don't know, I guess the elves aren't demonic, but how many movies have we done where someone either accidentally or purposely bleeds on a sacred
Hole in the ground.
area, yeah, and then something comes forth from it?
I mean,
Well,
this steals
There's been
from
quite a few.
this movie steals from Chopping Mall, which is what 81. It steals from The Gate, which we did, which was 87, if I'm not mistaken. 86.
Yeah.
Or was it also 89?
I cannot remember.
I even wondered, did they steal one of the little rubber suits from The Gate
The elves
to make
looked
the elf?
very much like it. Very much like it. And also like the child from Demonic Toys.
And I honestly, the first time I saw this on the small screen, I got so excited because I thought the grandpa was Max from Mad Men.
No.
If only.
This
It would
guy,
have brought the star power up 100%.
Oh, if Max was facing off against Grizzly Adams, holy shit.
could you imagine the scene chewing he would have done on top of Grizzly Adams?
Oh man. Do
That'd
you
have
think
been
he
a
would have been
powerhouse.
intimidated to be in scene to scene with such a cinematic Hollywood legend?
He
No,
would have
I
been
think-
glad to dance on the boards with a fellow thespian.
I think chests would have been puffed and jaws would have been jutted, and there would just been a whole lot of scene chewing, as Aaron said.
Since I couldn't. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm so excited about this movie. I really am. Like anything that happened in the last week has wiped away just talking about it with other people. Besides looking back at my notes,
My
at
notes.
7:09 in watching it, 7 minutes 9 seconds
Oh
in,
my god.
and I said this might be our best movie yet.
I gotta disagree.
Well,
I've gotta
we'll
disagree.
get there. That's okay.
Because I believe 7 minutes in is when you get Kirsten coming out of the shower, her brother has watched in his Ninja Turtle Donatello pajamas, watched her getting out of the shower. She calls him a pervert, other homophobic slurs, and then the F-bombs just start getting dropped in the house.
Yeah.
Her brother is a little shit.
And I thought when I was watching this was, Josh is going to hate this child. And I love this child actor.
I was like cringed by the fact that he was talking about how he saw his sister's tits. And was going to tell everybody about them.
Oh.
And how does she respond to this? By wrestling around on the bed with him.
Yes, with a barely cinched robe.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, since I couldn't see much of this movie, most of my notes are just quotes that I could hear. I did have you. I mean, you had to write down what the brother says to his sister, which is, "You've got fucking big tits, and I'm going to tell everyone I saw them."
I already pulled that quote. This movie is so quotable. Like, it's one thing when a movie is
fucking psychotic.
When a movie is just bad, like, Jack Frost, if you're in the mood for it, it's a good time. This movie, you cannot be in the mood for it, and it will raise your emotion from terrible to great. It will make you like just reset life because, one, oh my God, I wasn't part of this shitty movie. Number two, it's just so quotable. Like I'm going to tell everybody about your big fucking tits. That whole thing at the at the department store where they're talking about what the one guy's dick, like his dick is a yard, and the girl's like, "Is it really a yard?" And she's like, "Seriously, yeah, it's a yard."
A yard.
Yeah.
Are you on? Did Jeffrey Mandel send you an envelope full of cash?
I think so. I think the fix is in.
What the fuck has happened?
Nah.
Dan Haggerty's dog was named Fuchsia.
What is going on?
I will say, I didn't like this movie at first, but we've already kind of explained the overall plot, and as you go through the movie, it gets more fucking insane, and just keeps going and going. It never stops getting crazier and crazier. By the end of it, was like, that was a pretty good time.
I mean, Dan Haggerty carries the movie.
Oh,
and he's not even trying.
He's not even through the movie. What are you talking about?
He is the hero that we don't deserve, but need in this time of this movie. Like, again, I think no one gave him a script. I think he just goes from room to room and just asks, "How are you? What do you need?" Things aren't as bad. Like I said, this is a pick-me-up movie. Like, Dan Haggerty, he comes out of the screen as fuzzy as it is and gives you a big bear hug, no pun intended, but definitely intended, and just envelops you in his warmth and makes you want to be aware and present in the moment to watch him act. And then Nazis show up that are the worst Nazis ever.
Were they even German? No.
Grandpa was.
Grandpa acted like he was German. For sure.
Grandpa for sure.
Slapped her for real.
I think Deanna Lund really hated that actress. Like, I really believe that she was going to steal her savings account in real life.
I really hated Deanna Lund. Holy shit, that woman.
She really went for it.
She went for it, and she succeeded because there's a scene where, for no reason at all that I could tell, she drowns a cat in a toilet.
Yeah. I've never seen that. That's a cinematic first for me. Like, put a pregnant cat in a pillowcase.
Put in the pillowcase for real too.
Put it in the pillowcase and then put it in a toilet to drown it.
my point was going to be not only is it's a disturbing scene and one that I didn't care for, but it was so lazily filmed. That cat would have been clawing through that pillowcase and clawing at her face, and instead she's just gently dunking it in the toilet as if she
Yeah.
was washing her step-ins.
Yep.
Ew, Steppins in a toilet. Ugh, that's a bad thought.
I almost just shut the movie off at that point and said, "I'm not watching another movie called Elves this week." But I'm glad I
You
stuck
got
through it.
stuck through it. The Dan Haggerty smokes again in every scene except when he's handling that baby, even while brushing his teeth.
He
Didn't catch that.
Yes.
he
This is where I say, like, a movie like this with this level of budget, where again, someone saw Chopping Mall, someone saw enough like Raiders and hey, Nazis are big, and said, let's come up with this little nugget of a movie. We have no money. This to me is a more honest hilarity film than like a Jack Frost, which really knows that it's nothing more than what it is. Like, I think there's honesty on the screen, and it's all because of Dan Haggerty.
But why did she kill the cat?
Because she hates her daughter. And before we go any further, if you've never seen the movie Chinatown, which we're going to have to discuss in relation to Elves, Jared and Josh, have you seen Chinatown?
Nope.
All right, yes. I remember now having this conversation with Josh that he refuses to watch it, even though it's considered like.
Does it have kids in it or something?
It's got. Yes, there are kids.
I know.
Got a bunch of little shits in it.
No, but it rips off the whole twist of Chinatown, which I love that you saw Elves before you saw Chinatown.
Oh my god.
And I think that might be why Deanna Lund hates her daughter. Because of the twist, which again, Josh, if you want to give it away,
yeah,
I think.
Well, I mean, you can't talk about this movie without giving that plot twist away.
Well, before we, sorry,
maybe we should pause this recording.
Well,
you
I've
go watch Chinatown.
I've got plenty more to talk about before
you
we
go
even
watch
get to
Chinatown.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm still on the cat because, again, all I could do was hear the movie, and what was that cat's name?
Agamemnon.
Agamemnon.
Even though it was a girl that was pregnant.
What is Agamemnon?
Agamemnon was a Greek god, I think of war.
No one's naming their cat fucking Agamemnon. Get
well,
out
if
of here.
you're
This movie sucks.
If you're a Wiccan, I guess you kind of.
Yeah, listen. If you are one of the sisters of Anti-Christmas, you name your cat Agamemnon or whatever it is.
Agamemnon.
He was the king of Mycenae who commanded the Chians during the Trojan War. He was the son of King Atreus and Queen Aerope. I'm sorry, Greek listeners. He was a general. There you go.
Well, let's not brush past the
ultimate Greek tragedy.
The anti-Christmas ladies going to goof on Santa.
Oh yeah, I got that note.
And again, I have that quote already of Santa says oral.
Santa gets pretty far up that skirt in front of all those kids, which made me think back to our last movie.
Mm-hmm.
How many kids do you think were traumatized by seeing Santa trying to get some action? Do you think
goodness.
Do you think that created a whole bunch of little Harrys from Christmas Evil?
Absolutely. Imagine how many Christmas Evil scenarios that one moment in the mall spawned.
Yeah, that was the only thing I could think of while watching this. Like, well, there's your Christmas Evil and Elves sequel tie-in.
I also don't
maybe
understand.
It's in the same universe.
Mm-hmm.
So she says, let's go goof on Santa, but then all she does is sit on his lap, and then she's the one that ends up getting goofed on because Santa's a pervert.
Yeah, well, I think the goof is just a quote-unquote hot young teen or
no idea what Eddie's age was supposed to be.
40-year-old teen sitting on his lap.
He looked like a deranged psychopath to me.
Yeah.
Who
And then
gets stabbed repeatedly in the dick by a 2-foot elf.
That's okay. I had that on my notes because I couldn't tell. I was like, is he getting stabbed in the dick or the ass or the stomach or what's going on? It just looks like a red pillow getting stabbed.
Yeah, it was his dick.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you for
did
the
look,
clarification.
it looked like a large throw pillow just getting stabbed over and over again.
Back in the little sleeping quarters dungeon of the mall that had a cot and a sink. It looked like a fucking prison cell.
It's where
That's-
Grizzly Adams used to live.
I remember the America that had a department store that was 3 stories tall with a whole mannequin room that was like the size of a gymnasium, apparently. And
the food court looked like a banquet hall.
yeah, actually had a food court in the
Yeah.
bottom of the store.
Where like looked like where your local church would have like a bean supper.
Tell me,
It was
fellas,
the food court.
the manager of that department store,
Yes.
if this movie would have been released 5 years later,
Kevin
tell
Spacey.
me, yes, Kevin fucking Spacey.
Yep, I wrote that down. As this guy, Kevin Spacey.
I swear.
I knew where you were going with that.
I won't say what I was going to say. I'm sorry. Once the Nazis actually do catch up with the witches of or sisters of what were they, the masters with no slaves, which again,
Jesus Christ,
when you have apparently Nazi blood in you from a science experiment deemed like we're going to make the Fourth Reich through you and a dwarf elf, then it turns into maybe you shouldn't say things like the master without slaves in your movie where the protagonist keeps saying that they're masters.
Oh, it was intentional.
Yeah, in a movie where a young boy is telling his older sister that he just saw her tits, like I don't think they were really cared what was on the screen.
We should probably take a break here and
Yeah,
maybe get a little more into the Nazi plot. But before we do that, I wanted to say my last quick note of this side of the break is it seemed like a lot of people were real quick on the trigger to try to slap this girl. A lot of people like half cocking their hands to give her one across the face,
including
but
Kevin
not
Spacey.
Santa, not Santa.
All right,
Dan Haggerty.
We'll take a quick break and come back and rid ourselves of this.
All right.
Can't wait.
I'm your fucking sister. Yeah, and you've got fucking big tits, and I'm gonna tell everybody I saw 'em.
Before we get more into this movie, I do want to say I want to give credit where credit's due. The man who created it is still responsible for Child's Play is Don Mancini. Anyway, let's get back into this
That's
movie.
correct.
So yeah, I think we should probably talk about or try to at least briefly about where this twists and turns of this movie and the Nazi subplot of inbreeding and
yes, apparently during World War II and the rise of the Third Reich, they tried to make a super race with elves.
Mm-hmm.
And there are reasons given in the movie that escape me at the moment, like why an elf is such a perfect soldier. But they do almost like run down like, oh, well, elves are X, Y, and Z.
Well, it's the elf/human hybrid, I think, isn't it? And that's the grandpa. It's revealed that he is also the young, what's her name? The main girl.
Kirsten.
Her grandfather is also her father because he had sex with his daughter, the mom, and to create this pure-blooded
chance for a pure-blooded vessel for an elf to boink,
which would then I think create the hybrid.
Yes,
I think
Fourth Reich elf.
That's
Let's
as much as I
That's as
pause.
much as
garner
they
from all
got.
this. Yeah.
Pause right there. Pause.
Only, I'm sorry, only on Christmas Eve at midnight could this happen.
Oh, yes. And specifically, he has, and which again, never in my life did I think at Christmas Eve, as I get ready to lay my head down on my pillow, I'll think somewhere out there, someone's trying to get screwed by an elf to cause the Fourth Reich to rise up.
And now that's all you'll think about on Christmas Eve.
Thanks to elves.
Yes. What were you going to say, Josh?
Okay, we got to pause right there. So the big reveal happens. Mother and daughter are in like an argument, and daughter tells mother that she hates her and she wishes dad wasn't dead. To which that's when the big reveal happens that
Yeah.
your father isn't dead. He never existed. Your grandfather is your father. And that's my mind was blown. I was like, are they really going here in this movie in
Yeah.
like the third act? But then I also thought, okay, so wait, if dad never existed, grandpa fucked his daughter to create whatever her name is.
Kirsten.
It doesn't. Kirsten.
It's Kirsten.
Then where did little brother come from?
I had that note too. What was the point of little brother if he's not involved in this whole generational plan for an elf hybrid?
I don't know why he exists.
He also wasn't blonde hair, blue eyes, so maybe he
No.
was outside of the
Maybe he-
incestual.
But you think they would have put a little one sentence in there like
Oh, you think in this movie that they would have addressed that?
like we just never could have adopted you or something like that. there's nothing
No.
in there.
It's pretty appropriate that the master race had to be inbred. So genetically inferior with a fuck to be primed to fuck an elf on
Yeah.
Christmas Eve at midnight.
So there's your big plot twist.
Because it's going to bring about Armageddon.
And then what really the question started coming because I'm like, why would she? Because after this big reveal and she gets like punched in the face for real by.
Uh-oh.
We've lost Josh.
I got Josh.
That's the face I was making when the whole time I was watching this movie. Just, well, I think he was going to say after she gets punched in the face for the 40th time in this movie.
She's on to her third concussion at minimum.
I would like to go back, sorry, to digress from this massive plot twist, but I did, while we were talking about Dan Haggerty and his performance in this movie, would like to say that I enjoyed how he finished every single conversation with, "Thank you for your time. Merry Christmas."
Yeah.
Everybody he talked to.
Which again goes to my point that I'm pretty sure
we have officially lost Josh. The two of
Yeah.
us will carry this on until he can make his way back.
All right, I want to talk shit on Josh since he's not here, and he'll hear this when he hears the episode. But that plot twist ripped from Chinatown, which again, if you haven't seen Chinatown, that's on you at this point. It is a cinema classic. It is a landmark across cinema's vast scape of garbage, and this is one of the peaks of cinema.
Not the hyperbole that you're putting on this Elves movie. Like, it is actually a good movie.
Yeah. This is a good movie in its own way, but it is not real cinema. As fart sniffing as that sounds, like it is, like I said, if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry that Elves and this shitty little podcast spoiled it for you. But
yeah,
has he never seen Chinatown?
I don't know. Too busy watching
and
trash like this.
Elves spoiled it.
Did you honestly, like, having seen it twice now, did this plot make any sense to you the second time?
I hate to say it.
Really
the first time I understood the plot.
I'm even talking about it, I'm like, no, that's what they kind of try to make the grandpa into a sympathetic character after beating his daughter, who you think is the granddaughter, and then finding out did it make it seem like he raped the mom, or like was she a willing participant in this, or like
as evil as mom's sister is made out to be? I think she was in on it.
Yeah.
So my mom and my grandpa in this movie are Nazis, and I'm just Kirsten in the 80s working at my job at the that doesn't exist anymore, at the lunch counter in a department store that doesn't exist anymore, finding out that my whole reason for existence is to be bred to an elf for a Nazi master plan.
This was wild. I mean, can't say it wasn't. Can't take that away from it. I don't know what to do here. Do we keep? I mean, just stall till he gets back, or just keep talking. There's really not much left to say about it, I don't think.
No, I of all the movies that we've watched, and this is week 15, this is one of the movies I'd never seen before. I think almost every movie that we've covered, I've seen before. Yeah. But I was so like, this is like uncovering a diamond and a pile of shit. Like this to me,
absolutely absurd. What
I
love that you found so much joy in it. That actually does warm my heart.
Well, in my household we watch a lot of garbage, and this is why I always I'm a big fan of Turner Classic Movies, and for the 3 to 5 hours of garbage that I will watch over the course of a week or two, always make sure to go through and check off again these like landmarks across the landscape of movies that you should have already seen if you like movies, just to offset the garbage. And this, to me, I don't feel like I needed to pay that toll. Like this movie by itself, I was like, it's garbage, but it's a type of garbage that really I love with cheesy movies. And again, the fact that you have Land of the Giants going full frontal to get murdered by an elf, which she wanted to see have sex and blend with her daughter's sister, while the thing headbangs at the foot of the tub.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. I did get it. I thought that's what was happening when I saw it.
It gets to this point where it's just so absurd. There was a real big missed opportunity when I mean, I'm only going back because we're killing time till Josh can get back. There was a moment when they go and goof on Santa, and Kirsten's sitting on Santa's lap, and he's actively feeling her up, and he's like, "No, what do you want?" Yeah. And it's like, I guess I want it to snow. And then what happens is he gets fired, and after getting fired, he goes into the weird little dungeon bedroom. Wait, no. I thought he does get fired. He doesn't get fired.
Oh, he doesn't?
The guy that would go on to be Kevin Spacey just basically says, take 15 and collect yourself.
Oh, yeah, it was 89. It was probably not a fireable offense to assault a
Kirsten
woman.
Almost loses her job more than that guy
Jesus
does.
Jesus Christ. But anyway, so he goes and starts cutting up rails of coke on a mirror to snort, and he really missed an opportunity to be like, I got your snow, or something like that. That's what Jack Frost would have done.
Well, of course, and that's
a
why
more
it's a lesser movie.
No, well,
because maybe. there's the gag, the physical gag that I don't know if you caught this because you were having a problem seeing everything, where Eddie, the department store Santa, sets up the rails, and then he on purpose just to make sure it happened, pushes the
Yeah,
fake beard
his
through.
beard, yeah.
And I was like, that was a choice. And the director said, yes, do that.
Yeah.
And then on the back end of that scene, when the police come and look at the dead body, that one cop is dipping and rubbing his gums with the cocaine. Did you catch that?
No.
There's a giant mustache cop on the left-hand side of the screen that's like, he has a throwaway line, and then you see him just come up with like a finger and just start rubbing his gums with that coke. And I was like, and then another part happens towards after the big shootout in the department store, where Dan Haggerty walks by. For some reason, in the sporting department, there is a real life grizzly bear stuffed.
Oh, that's funny.
And he does a double take look at old Ben.
That's funny. Oh,
which
yeah,
I have to admit, I never watched Grizzly Adams, and I've never seen Grizzly Adams, but I know Dan Haggerty.
Well, you're not 70, so.
And I grew up with only two terrestrial broadcast channels. So
was it a PBS show or something? What would that have been on?
I think it was on ABC, which is why I didn't grow up with it. We had CBS and NBC.
You mentioned throwaway lines. I did enjoy that when Haggerty is it starts to kind of get on the case of the murdered Santa Claus, and he says to himself, you're not a detective anymore, you're not even a mall detective, which is just like, so right there, 2 lines of like, well, that's his past, that's his history. He's got, like, if that were made today, and when movies now are 2.5 hours long, that 2 throwaway lines would have been like 40 minutes of exposition.
You would have had a whole Divergent, let's go back, like a flashback scene.
Yeah.
And they would have acted the whole thing out. And Dan Haggerty, neat and tidy. Hey, look, I'm on my 90-day recovery chip. I'm better now. And then like 5-10 minutes later, he even says, like, to himself, like he does the rest of the movie, give his exposition as, yep, I was a real detective. Then I ended up being a department store detective towards the end, and I have a drinking problem. Which, the way he acts in this, it's kind of like he might have still had that problem.
You have a drinking problem, a morphine problem, whatever makes you
not to dump on Dan
or mobile,
because I love him in this movie, but when he goes to his trailer, it's like I feel like that was his Grizzly Adams trailer. Like he told the director, "Don't worry, I've got my own."
Yeah, he just
trailer
takes it with him.
I've got my own wardrobe. I just want to be in something, and I think that's why he's in this movie.
Hey,
look! Dan Haggerty. Back. Dan Haggerty hugged you back to reality.
Should we stop down and get this taken care of, or is this just a peek behind the curtain?
I think this is a good peek behind the curtain.
Okay.
Oh, it sounds like getting ready for Jack Frost. Like, Detective Carlos Santana is joining us on.
This is the audio version of the Elf Vision. I'm hearing what that looked like somehow.
Jared, we didn't even talk about the Elf Stone.
Oh God, I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. The Elf Stone, it was cool looking. It looked like
like a orange piece of a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Stone.
Well, we lost him again. Do you think that was that inspired Spielberg to do the amber crystal from Jurassic Park? Do you think he watched Elves and got the idea to do?
No, I think Michael Crichton had that deal already done for him. Do you think that Elf also stab that woman in the crotch at the department store that he murders? And then
that must have been something that I couldn't see.
Well,
most likely.
I mean, the blood splatter looked like she just got her throat slashed, but the movements, it was like a reverse Jack Frost, where the movements made it look like he did the same thing. I think that was maybe a limitation of the puppet.
Yeah.
Because then when you got the establishing wide shot, it was for sure he had drawn runes on her wrist and slashed her throat.
Well, the height would be.
And there are times where this 2-foot elf looks like he's a regular sized man in a rubber suit.
Yeah. But yeah, he's like Step-In's height. So I would assume he was stabbing the crotch roll area.
Yeah, I don't think the elf was thick or a yard.
This is making me so nervous just watching Josh try to join this thing and
in earnest to talk about.
I know.
Elf.
So we gotta get on to other things. Anyway.
Oh.
Nope, can't hear you, buddy. I think we should stop down.
Yeah.
At this point.
If you've never seen,
because all that's going to happen is he's going to come in and just go through his notes that we've probably already talked about.
No, I think he's the fact that he watched Elves and now is having this issue with his laptop.
This is happening because he watched both movies.
This computer says, I don't want to live.
This is his earthly karma. Or his cosmic
Can
karma.
You hear me?
Yes.
Christ.
Just in time to talk about the car explosion where Dan Haggerty does his own stunt.
All right. Well, the audio will probably be different because I have to go through this little Chromebook's default audio.
That sounds fine.
Sounds fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
No, if you guys already went through the rest of it without me, I would just like to say.
We were just talking football.
Yeah, we talked generalizations. We didn't put to bed the Elfstone. We didn't really talk about the exciting scene where Dan Haggerty's car explodes because of a plastic looking Looney Tunes style wrap of TNT, where he does his own stunt.
Didn't catch that.
Oh, you didn't see where the car explodes?
No.
Oh.
Couldn't tell what was happening.
It was after the third act professor dump of information. Where there's two professors that basically give you the whole background of the movie.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't recognize I did not my synapses of vision to brain to
a car, a 30-foot car from the 70s exploded violently in the town square. And our protagonist, well, not our protagonist, because that would have to be Kirsten, but our co-lead protagonist leapt to his safety. And then beats up the Nazi to steal his Thunderbird.
Are we still recording right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Josh, do lightning round of your notes so we can get off this goddamn movie.
No, that's fine. The only thing I really wanted to touch on, because I don't know what was discussed and what wasn't, is keep in mind what I said earlier about Dan Haggerty being arrested for selling cocaine to undercover officers.
Mm-hmm.
And just imagine, especially the back half of this movie, just him running around all zooted up during this production.
Oh, he did not seem zooted up at all.
You have a lot more fun with this movie when you you view it in that light.
He seemed like they must have switched out his cocaine with fucking Zoloft that he was snorting or something. I don't know.
He was really booking it in that mall scene when they started opening fire with the automatic rifles.
That sounded like Atari 2600 sound effects.
Yeah, but no, I'm good.
I think I may have disassociated at that point in the movie and
you missed out
a happy place.
Actually, the only other note I would like to touch on is when the mother does die naked in the bathtub as she's electrocuted by the elf while he headbangs to
Yes.
Ode to Joy.
We talked about that.
We-
Take a fucking note, writer director Jack Frost. That's how you do a bathtub death scene.
yes.
I got a note about that coming up.
Do we
Jack
think that was a
Frost.
body double?
No,
No, that was
I
her.
don't think they could afford another staff member cast.
There were full body shots of face and
Yeah.
naked body in the
Yeah.
bathtub. That was not a
could.
body double.
At 51 years old.
Good for her.
Hollywood, the real Hollywood, wouldn't allow that.
My note is
Weird.
I literally couldn't tell what was happening the last 15 minutes of this movie, and she gets her snow in the end. Like she asked Santa, who felt her up and assaulted her, for snow. She gets snow in the end.
She gets her snow, but the end credits let you know that she is pregnant with the hybrid.
Yep.
Which there are plenty of ways
win.
to solve that. So I don't know how, unless the Nazis strap her down for 9 months, or she's not going to take care of that.
Just a great feel-good movie where the Nazis win.
My favorite exchange in the whole movie comes between the boy and his sister, where he asks, "Are we going to be all right?" And her response is, "No, Billy. Gramps is a Nazi."
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That was good.
Or Dan Haggerty, when they're concerned about their mom being electrocuted in the tub, he just closes the door and says, "She'll be along. She'll be okay."
Yeah.
Then he opens it up real quick and says, "Thank you for your time. Merry Christmas," to her dead body.
I guess I did have more because when he busts into the doctor's Christmas Eve dinner,
The second professor, information dump.
with the children there, and they just start discussing elves and Nazis.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
I
funny.
fucking loved it.
And that guy was such a piece of garbage because he goes to his. Yeah, oh my God, this movie is batshit. He looks at, I guess, a live-in. What's a good term for what?
A
Au
pair.
pair.
Yes, we'll say his Spanish au pair that he has for his two girls, and is like telling her to call 911. Like he is too lazy to pick up the fucking phone himself, that he's like in broken Spanish saying like por favor, like nueva una.
Oh my God.
Like, what is this movie?
And Grizzly Adams is just like, "You'll have my questions answered and I'll be gone by the time they get here." And it's like,
Yeah.
he's not lying.
Or no, by the time that you can explain to her what you want her to do. Which isn't kind of cool in of itself, Dan Haggerty, but you are correct. Like this guy.
I don't think he was saying anything about au pair. I think he was trying to say like, "You're a dipshit, and if
Yeah.
you just tell me what I need to know, I'll apologize to you and get out of your hair."
Oh my, yeah. There's just so much, Jared. Like I said when Josh wasn't here, there are so many choices made in this movie that go correct for this to be on the right side of the
Correct?
ledger. You guys
are
wow,
fucking...
I'm watching this and I love every minute of it.
I've got this
that
is
you
like,
don't get in Jack Frost.
This is like when you guys were praising Cheerleader Camp, and then 2 weeks later you're like, "Fuck, this movie's terrible." I am dumbfounded. I cannot believe the praise that this movie's getting.
Like I said, I was not into it when it started, and by the end of it, I was a convert.
Yes, thank you.
All right, we got to move on. I know there's a lot more we could talk about, but unless this is
Now
gonna
that
be a
Josh is
2.5
back.
hour episode,
This is my last bit about elves.
mm-hmm.
This movie is primed for a remake with our cinematic heartthrob and treasure, Russell Crowe. Russell
like
Crowe in the Dan Haggerty position,
Mm-hmm.
and you get Shane Black to rewrite it. would be just basically do the nice guys, but make this shitty movie shine with a little bit of Hollywood polish. And
Kevin
Russell
Spacey's
Crowe,
trying to make a comeback as the mall manager.
Spacey would demand to be the pervert Santa Claus.
yeah, or the grandpa.
No, I want to say Santa wants oral because that's creepy, and I'm Kevin Spacey.
Fuck Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, he's
Allegedly.
due for he's due for.
Do we have to say
Christmas
allegedly?
video. No, fuck him. I mean, I guess he was cleared
Yeah, so
on all his shit.
eat shit and live.
So
Only
And
because
also-
everybody that was going to testify against him
Yes,
was
it's-
murdered.
it's dead.
Oh yeah.
Weird.
Whoops.
Weird.
All right.
I don't
Jack
mean to.
Frost.
I don't want to rush you guys along. If you got more to say, go ahead.
No,
Let's go on to Jack Frost.
I just want. I am for real going to write to someone at Vinegar Syndrome and say, please, whatever it takes, bring elves to the daylight, because I obviously
It's
this
nowhere.
movie was never released in DVD or Blu-ray. That there's reasons probably why it never was, but it really at this era of the beginning of the fall of humanity and Western civilization, this movie is just, like I said, a big bear hug, pun intended, from Dan Haggerty to you, the viewer. That sometimes things are outside of your control, and all you can ask for is a little help from Santa.
Yeah, no, well said. Well said.
What's wrong? Are we gonna be all right?
No, Willie, Gramps is a Nazi.
Okay, so you guys, we got the Christmas tunes going on. We got the chestnuts roasting on the open fire. You guys ready to do a little Yankee chop gift exchange?
Oh, sure.
What?
Well, you've heard of a Yankee swap. Now we're doing a Yankee chop gift exchange.
Oh, God.
Actually, I never had heard that first thing you described.
I've never heard of a Yankee or a white elephant. I guess
No.
I've heard of a.
Like I said,
I've heard
Any
of a
of my-
white dead flint.
any of the Christmas parties I've ever gone to, they've used what I assume is the same thing with the racial connotation that I am used to about the fire drill.
Oh well,
Is
okay.
it
So
where you give a gift and then give it away?
so everyone draws the name. If there's 12 people, everyone draws a number from 1 to 12. The first person picks the gift, and then the next person can either steal that gift
Yeah.
or pick a new gift,
Yeah.
and then so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So this is a version of that called the Yankee Chop Gift Exchange.
Okay. And by the
Not-
way, listener, this is after our second break, and I don't think we've let you in that this is our Christmas party.
Yeah, we're having a
episode.
Christmas party.
So by Act 3 here, we should all sound like Dean Martin slurring.
Yeah.
By
I
the time
haven't
that we
eaten
get to
since 11:30 a.m. So let's rock and roll.
by the time that we start talking about Jack Frost, it'll be mumbles and grunts.
So not only is this our Christmas gift exchange, but it's also kind of a celebration of our year end of everything we've watched so far this year. So how this is going to work. Each round, there's 2 gifts. You get to choose which gift you want, but the thing is, you don't know who it's from. So you have to guess who the gift is from. If you get it wrong, the other person, like a Yankee chop, gets to steal that gift from you, or gets a chance to. Whoever has the most gifts at the end of the game is the winner of the gift exchange. Some of them are very easy. Some of them, depending on how much I wanted to think about it, is the degree of difficulty. First round, we got 2 gifts here. One has a red bow and one has a green bow. These mean nothing towards the clues. So we'll start with Josh since he won the last game. Josh, do you want to open the green bow or the red bow present?
Let's go with that green bow.
Green bow. Why, it's a model rocket. Who could this gift be from?
Oh,
You can just say the actor, the character, or just give a description. If you get the movie and the actor, you get 2 points. Or
Hollywood heartthrob, Stephen Dorff,
from which movie?
The Gate.
You get 2 points on that one. So Aaron gets the red bow, and it is a Walkman. It's a Walkman.
From
Every
Stranger
movie we've
Things?
done is represented.
I know. Button on the nose, Ty West. That is House of the Devil.
Yep. And
Because remember, kids, we all had Walkmans.
do you
We did
remember the
all have
character, or do you just want to say the main girl? That'll count.
Was her name Sam?
Sure. It's festive.
You don't
We'll
even
give it to
know.
you.
You don't even know.
God, okay.
It's
2-2.
House of the Devil, Ty West,
Yeah, you got
and
it.
that
Yep.
nice lady, who was just there,
The baby. You could say like the babysitter.
the babysitter.
Yeah,
the
I'll
one
count
that's
that.
not Greta Gerwig.
All right, next round, Aaron. You get first pick. There's one with a black bow and one with a gold bow.
Gold.
It's a 10-pound bag of nickel jawbreakers.
Oh, well, that's from cheerleader camp, from our friend old Buck Flowers.
Yes, it is.
Did you just get a hard-on as a Christmas gift?
I did.
Well, it makes my pee harder. So Josh, you get the black bow. It's
All right.
a metal-lined scarf that smells like garlic.
Does it belong to Applesauce Mouth from The Vampire Happening?
It sure does. It's from Joseph from the Vampire Happening. Good job. It's
All right.
4-4. The next one, Josh.
We're on
you
our
pick-
game, baby.
Josh, you pick first. There's a blue bow and a purple bow.
Purple.
It's a free session at the local paintball gym.
It's from Jason Lives, and I guess it's one of the paintball executives.
We'll give it to you. That's
All right.
6 points for Josh.
Is it Tom Arnold?
Aaron, the blue bow. It's a snow globe and a pack of cigs. A snow globe and a pack of cigs.
Man, that's a hard one. I'm racking my mind. No.
See, Josh and I just enjoyed watching Krampus,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I'm thinking Snow Globe Krampus, but I know we didn't watch Krampus for the. Oh,
of it.
easy. Cemetery Man.
It is Cemetery Man. There was a snow globe and he smoked a lot of cigs.
I would have got that wrong.
Well, what would you have guessed?
Jack Frost, because he's always going, gotta smoke!
No. That wouldn't have been a bad guess. All right, next one. Who picked the last one first? I can't.
Josh.
I did.
Okay, so Aaron, you got a white bow or a pink bow?
Give me pink.
Pink bow is a deck of cards and three Blu-rays. Each one is Platoon, Hamburger Hill, and Saving Private Ryan. A deck of cards and 3 Blu-rays, Platoon, Hamburger Hill, and Saving Private Ryan. They're going to start getting a little harder.
Oh man, a pack of playing cards and 3 Blu-rays. I wish I would have had our list of episodes up, because I know there are some where I have
that's why
browned
it's
out.
the year-end celebration, because you're like, oh shit, I forgot about that movie.
Let's say Planet Terror.
You were wrong. It is from Demonic Toys, because they played War at the beginning
That's
with their
bullshit.
deck of cards.
That is
Oh,
bullshit.
man.
That is a
Mm.
bullshit. You should have said.
And I don't get a chance to steal.
Oh shit, Josh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, these
Oh,
games are
fuck.
hard to MC. Now that's kind of garbage, because you could have done, what was the chicken
Don't
place?
tell me what I could have done. I
It
was
could have
trying to
been
make
like-
them harder. They start easier, they get harder.
All right.
Uh,
Give me white, give me fire,
you
give me
tell
that which
me
I
what I
desire.
Josh, you get a vacation at a resort along the Yucatan Peninsula.
What?
In Mexico.
Oh,
I'll give you that hint because I didn't give you a chance to steal. The Yucatan Peninsula is a resort in Mexico, and you can vacation there.
Is it Rose McGowan from Planet Terror?
It is.
It is. So you get that one for 2.
I'd take a vacation with Rose McGowan to the Yucatan Peninsula.
All right, next one. Starting with Aaron, a teal bow or an orange bow?
Orange.
It's a carrot cake.
Jack Frost.
It is Jack Frost.
Is there a carrot cake in Jack Frost?
There
Nobody
are
likes
those
carrots.
giant stalagmites of carrots that Mom produces.
Sometimes you just got to think about what does this movie represent.
What have we
Or sometimes
discussed?
it's a prop. The next ones might be like just straight up riddles. All right, Josh, you get an eye-shaped ice cube mold.
Oh, body bags. John Carpenter.
Body bags,
My favorite.
indeed. All right, next up, Josh, you pick first, a brown bow or a mauve bow.
Can we pause this for a sec? Wait, I'm sorry. Were there any children in body bags?
No,
Not obviously in the Mark Hamill.
not that I can think of.
Not in the very
No.
first one. No. So
Not in the
that's so
Herald.
Josh had to project his hatred for children
on
John Carpenter being a little kid, hamming it up in the segments. Okay.
Whatever his rage can be pinpointed to.
That's I just wanted
Not
to
this week though. He's in a good mood this week.
Yeah, I just
so he'll
wanted a
be-
chance
It's
to character
gonna-
assassinate at our Christmas party.
in 5 minutes. He's gonna be like, "I love Jack Frost. I'm in a
Oh, no.
good mood this week." So wait, you picked mauve? Or
Yeah.
Did you?
Come on, Mauve.
Well, it's a calendar, but none of the months seem to have a 24th day or beyond.
It's a calendar. None of the months have a 24th day or beyond. Oh man, I know this. God, I'm just. I know I know this, but I can't think because. Yes. Is it the guy from Christmas Evil?
Aaron, you get a chance to Yankee chop this gift because it was
Oh,
not.
no.
It is a calendar, but the months seem to not have a 24th day or beyond.
I'm gonna hate myself. when I know
Oh. I don't want to say it because I hate the man and his movies. Victor Salva. Jeepers Creepers 2.
Yep,
that. Oh man, you got
we're tied 10-10 with that Yankee chop, and the final round. This is a difficult one. Who got? So Aaron, you get to pick first. There's a turquoise bow and a yellow bow.
Yellow, please.
Why, it's a plane ticket to wherever you want to go and a completely blackout sleep mask.
A completely blackout sleep mask and a ticket for wherever I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
How many weeks are we through with these movies?
These are the last two. And I will say, shit, I should have told this. Christmas Evil and Elves are not included.
Okay.
Sorry, Josh, because
You
guessed
should
it.
you should have not said that just to leave it open.
Yeah.
But I won't tell you how to host a game show. Not like my Not like my opponent over there.
Let's go. You know what?
All right.
Let's go with Demon Knight.
Oh, fuck. Oh, this isn't the last round.
Okay. Let's go with Demon Knight.
Josh, you can
Billy-
Yankee chop it.
Oh,
That's gonna be Sam Neill from Event Horizon.
Oh, it is, because where you're going, you won't need eyes to see.
Yep.
Good call. All right.
I didn't know we were solving the riddle of the Sphinx.
Well, I
here.
told you they'd get harder. I told you they'd get harder. This one is who's this? Josh.
Yes.
It's Axe body spray and a beer of the month membership.
Axe body spray and a beer of the month membership. Do any of these repeat?
No.
Axe body spray and a beer of the month.
We really should know our own podcast better. Instead of browning out and not remembering the movies that we've done.
Man, this one I don't know that I got a good answer for.
Just say
I guess I'm gonna go Roach from Demon Knight.
AJ, you can chop. Yankee chop it.
can you repeat it for me?
It's in the box is Axe body spray and a beer of the month membership.
Beer of the month. Is it Madman?
It is Madman because he had a bloody
I wa-
axe and he ordered a beer.
Bullshit.
All right, we're tied at 12. There's one gift left. I was hoping this would happen. I'm gonna say it, and you guys gotta answer by buzzing in.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was spacing out. I got to buzz in.
Buzz
If I
in.
know the
Final
answer.
question
Okay.
because we had an odd number of movies.
How do we buzz in? Do we say buzz?
With your name,
Okay.
I say Josh or I say Aaron.
Aaron.
You say Aaron.
Okay.
I say Josh.
All right. The last gift is a Costco variety pack of sponges.
Josh. Demon
Yes.
Knight.
It is Demon Knight. Josh, you win.
Wait, what are
The-
the sponges from Demon Knight?
The sponges that roll out of his mouth.
Oh my god.
That's how you play the Yankee Chopped gift exchange. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas.
I hope you enjoyed that festive activity. A walk down memory lane.
I loved it.
And
Did
I'm
you-
going.
I-
I'm
as I
turning
was-
off the music now.
As I was getting this game together, I completely forgot that we did cheerleader camp. I forgot that we did Friday the 13th. I forgot that we did Cemetery Man. So you guys did really great for not like having that, I had the knowledge because I had to go back and look it up, but you guys did really well for not, having that just off the top of your dome. Good job.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Next year we can play a Secret Satan.
Oh,
Oh.
god damn, that's better than fucking Yankee Chop gift exchange. All right, we got to do it.
What
We got
week?
to.
What week of Jack Frost is this?
Well, three
3?
and
This
a
is
half
the
for
third.
me and you because we tried to watch it over Thanksgiving.
Oh
Yeah, well, I don't want to hear shit because you guys didn't watch the wrong Elves movie.
I would have maybe rather watched that one. Anyway, let's get into it.
All right, it's the
3.
third week of Jack Frost talk, and I'm amazed that we've not talked about Sheriff Tyler being killed in real life in a avalanche.
What? Oh my god.
What?
Again, do you guys not do research?
No.
Not on him.
No.
Christopher Allport died in an avalanche.
Oh,
Oh,
God. Sam?
Sam Tyler,
No.
Sheriff Sam,
Oh no.
Christopher Allport
Mm-mm.
in 2008.
Josh is laughing like that fucking Laugh Olympics Muttley dog down here about a man.
Because I'm trying not to. Because it's not
Jesus
funny,
Christ.
but
It's not funny at all. A man died. All right.
I mean,
It's
the
a terrible-
irony is a little bit funny.
It's-
A little bit funny.
Yes.
Not the fact
Yes.
that a man is
The-
dead. But
oh.
the-
I'm not.
tragedy.
I'm
The
not.
tragedy.
Yeah.
is
I'm not
not
bringing
funny.
it up to make fun. I'm bringing
I
it
mean,
up
it's
because
wild.
it's like, what was it? The Twilight Zone curse, where there was a helicopter incident,
Yeah.
and everybody else from that died from,
the Vic Morrow curse.
or like the Wizard of Oz curse,
Yeah.
like where
Man.
there's the
So we're
Munchkin.
we're watching a cursed film here.
I mean, Jack Frost 3 just writes itself, doesn't it?
Well, not with Christopher Allport.
Was he in the second one?
Yes, that I didn't watch, but I did watch the trailer. Have you guys seen Jack Frost 2?
No.
God, no.
I wish I'd
What's
never
wrong
seen
with
Jack
you?
Frost 1.
All right. Well, let's take this down another avenue and move away, because again, I thought everybody knew that about Christopher Allport.
No.
It's week 3, and I wanted, instead of coming up with a theory, which is my bit,
You
not
just
Jared's.
wanted to make me laugh about a dead man.
No. I feel like, you come to podcasts like this. Yes, we talk about horror movies that are really shitty, but we also clear the air for DIYers out there when it comes to home renovations or repairs.
Oh no.
So when Deputy Joe, quote unquote, fixes the plumbing, he
Mhm.
doesn't go to any of the shutoff valves. He just kind of twists at the trap,
Oh my God.
That's not the way to do it.
and that does nothing.
Not the way to do it.
Okay.
She didn't have to be so mean to him.
Deputy Joe just kind of like grabs the T trap and messes around with that. And to be fair, later on he starts talking about the Teflon tape and how to wrap it.
Mhm.
You guys remember that?
Yep.
Sure.
Now that is correct. The Teflon tape, when you apply it to plumbing, you should wrap that on the threads, which is the male side, which he gets correct as well, clockwise. But that's not always the case. You should always check your threads to make sure they are grooved so that the tape, when you apply it, is threaded
Holy
properly.
shit.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
So there's a scene where they're doing the snowman.
Wait, there's more. That's just bullet point 1.
oh God.
Is this still about the avalanche that killed the sheriff?
No,
Oh.
we're talking
Oh,
about home improvement at this point. Number 2, bullet point for Eat the Buckle top tips. Do not run extension cords and hair dryers to the amount that they do in this movie, especially in standing water.
Yeah.
Because unless those are insulated extension cords, you're going to end up like the mom sister in ELVES. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Then I feel like, let me check my notes, that there is a third one here. But
Don't make cookies out of antifreeze?
well, yeah, actually, the antifreeze does come into play.
Mhm.
If you're going to randomly baptize your child in the back of a pickup truck, do not do it open mouth and antifreeze, because you will get sick. And
Yeah.
die.
Well, let's get chronological here, because through the
so
whole thing.
in the credits.
Did you have more home improvement tips?
No,
I don't want to cut off your home improvement.
like I
I
said,
do.
it's been 3 weeks. There's only so much hilarity that you can blood from a stone from this movie. And there are things that come up around the house that between the deputy and Paul Davro that you just need to make sure that people aren't repeating what they see on the screen.
So take that into consideration.
And add a quick financial tip on there that if the owner of a haberdashery in town tries to deliver you salt, tell him you don't need it because it's 80 degrees outside and there's no snow on the ground.
Actually, tell him to get the fuck out of my living room. Why are you just walking into my house, you asshole? Fucking creep. Just walks into people's houses with his deliveries.
So because I had to watch this for a third time, when I saw the name Mike Dickey, who is credited as the snowman supervisor in makeup effects, I had to Google him. So Mike Dickey, snowman supervisor and makeup effects artist, has also worked on movies such as House of a Thousand Corpses,
Whoa,
Ghoulies 2 and 3,
whoa,
the Ginger Dead Man trilogy,
well,
Oh,
that
God.
makes sense.
and
that checks out.
Eat the Buckle favorites Ghoulies 2 and 3. He was also one of the werewolves in the trailer for the Werewolves of the SS or whatever that Rob
Wow.
Zombie movie was in Grindhouse.
Yeah.
So Michael Dickey's been around Hollywood, and he's also responsible for some of the beloved childhood horror movies.
Love it. Good for
and
him.
also responsible for supervising an inanimate snowman in this movie.
He knew somebody that got him a gig. Did you? I noticed while watching it this time while they're doing the snowman competition that did you notice how many people, including the priest, are just walking around the background with empty buckets? The priest is like walking around with like 3 empty buckets in each hand.
Yeah. Bringing the snow for the snowman.
How does that relate to your cult theory?
Well,
I sunk Jared's.
No, you didn't.
I did. I told my wife about this, and I said, "Look, watch for this guy. He's up to no good." We're talking about, of course, the gentleman with glasses, the orange hat, hunting hat, who looks like one of my brother's college roommates.
Mm-hmm.
I made a list. I'm not going to name names, but Josh
Those
knows.
darn Polacks.
Yeah, okay.
Jesus Christ.
The first scene.
Oh no.
The first scene of Weird Guy scene. He's coming out of Paul Davro's with a giant ornament. That's the first time you see him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're not there yet. Second time at the sheriff's office when Paul Davro announces a 20% off ammo sale to protect everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Third time, he waves at Shannon Elizabeth during her rape
scene. Yep.
Fourth time.
That's him welcoming his elder god.
Fourth time is when he comes out after Picasso Jack, and you see with the marshmallows.
Yep.
Fifth time, he's in the hairdryer brigade in the basement furnace room. So he is anti-snowman.
No, he just knows that will make him stronger.
Added to the sixth time you see him, which is when he's adding antifreeze to his Toyota FJ40 at the burial site of all the bottles of antifreeze, which just so happens to be the same vehicle that wrecks in Elves randomly.
Uh-huh.
So that man that you said is the inside track.
Well, they're all in on it.
No, he is
the whole town.
Why would he be trying to get rid of the snowman then?
Because they ultimately make him stronger. Which I want to talk about the final scene of this, but we'll get to that.
Can I bring up something?
Yes.
All right. So I was watching for our Detective Santana that we've discussed previously, and I rewound that scene multiple times to try to figure out what he was muttering in his.
Still didn't hear it.
What?
No.
Still haven't heard it.
In his Lovecraftian lizard voice.
Yep.
And finally, I put on the subtitles, and what he says is, I guess he's so flustered by his interview with the guy that was driving the prison van that when he's tapped on the shoulder and told that the other guy's taken over, he says, "Been drinking, buddy," and then turns around and walks away.
Oh,
So mystery solved there.
Does he
Wow.
say it in a language that is not English?
No, because even I went back
Linava?
and when you go back and watch it with the subtitles up, it still sounds nothing like "been drinking, buddy." That was one thing. Second thing, so our beloved sheriff, he is a sheriff, right?
R.I.P.
Yes.
Rest in peace. At the beginning, when they're driving past the accident, which we are
Thank
to
you.
believe takes place in Snowminton,
Yes. In Snowminton County, where he is sheriff.
there is a man with a Jeff Foxworthy mullet wearing a jacket with
And
the words
stash.
sheriff written
Mhm.
on it. When he asks that man what's going on, he is brushed off and told it doesn't concern him and to move on.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
I mean, now, okay. The only devil's advocate I will play was that they were just over the Snowminton County line, but it's the exact same sheriff's jacket that all of his deputies wear.
Yes. And they're very specific to point to Snowminton on the map.
What are
Leading
we
you to
doing?
believe.
Why are we
What
sharing
is-
this?
I'm gonna share something, but don't
Okay.
mind me.
Okay.
Um,
I have one more.
yes.
The sheriff has letters
From Jack.
from
Yep.
Jack.
Uh-huh.
From Jack Frost. These letters are written with cutout letters
yeah.
from magazines.
Uh-huh. That
Uh-huh.
was one that I really wanted to say.
Yeah, a serial killer would write.
Yeah.
A serial killer who hasn't been caught.
Yeah,
and is
he's
trying his hardest to not be caught by
He's
the
in-
detectives pursuing him.
he's in prison.
These were written after he was convicted,
Yes.
and they're signed Frost.
Yep. I love it. That's attention to detail, baby.
Jesus Christ.
That's what you don't get in an elves.
I hate this fucking movie.
This is really the only thing I wanted to do. So there's the scene where the
Oh,
Brian.
look, there's you when you tried to get Instagram to work.
What?
There's a
Oh, yeah.
selfie of you.
You see that? So there's a scene where the dad of the bully who gets decapitated is he goes out in the backyard and he says, "I'm going to go get more wood." And he brings a key with him and
Yep.
locks himself out of the house.
I think that's Jake Metzner.
Yeah, so he locks he goes outside, turns around, locks the door, and his intention is to grab a bunch of wood to go back into the house where he'll have to unlock himself and go back in. But anyway, at some point, Jack Frost is fucking with him in this scene, and he is like screaming at who's out there, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and then he says this, and I want you to tell me what you think he says here, if I can get it to play.
I'm out here where I can see you, crush something, dog.
Can you hear that?
Yeah. Do it again. Just
All right,
for the sake of.
hold on.
I'm out here where I can see you, crush something, dog.
Yeah.
Now, I put like Josh, I put the captions on this,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, "I'm out here. I can see you, you Christ sling dog." And every time I've watched this, I've been like, "What the fuck does he say there?" And it's not that, but I finally wanted to just bring it to everyone's attention. Do you?
So wait, what did the
The
closed caption?
subtitles said, I'm out here. I can see you, you Christ sling dog."
It sounds like he says
I'm out
sucking,
here where I can see you, crush something, dog.
Sounds like he's
salting,
salty dog.
salting dog.
I'm out here where I can can see you, you Christ-nothing dog.
Come out here where I can see you, you Christ salty dog. Salting dog?
Salting, like I am actively
Yeah.
salting the driveway.
Did he
but-
think it was the owner of the haberdashery?
He thought it was
Tried
Sam.
to salt
it
his
was
sidewalk.
he thought it was the sheriff's kid. Or Sam.
No, he thought
yeah.
it was Sam himself.
Well, he was
but-
excited when he thought it was Sam. He had like a giddy smile on his face. He's like, "Are you here to apologize?"
Yeah.
But anyway, so the rest of the movie,
That's
because
all
of
he
that,
wanted in life was for Sam to apologize.
yeah. Well, they were buddies.
Mm.
But anyway, the rest of the movie I watched with subtitles on because of that, and it's really funny to watch them try to interpret what Jack Frost is saying, because what I was watching it on YouTube, the captions are really funny, trying to catch up with what Jack Frost is saying.
See, this is null and void because that's probably auto subtitles.
AI shit.
Yeah, so you got to go to like Prime and watch it with
No.
subtitles on.
Won't be doing that.
Okay.
Well, I will get to the bottom of what Christ salting dog is.
I want to circle back. Most of my notes are about Chris Allport, R.I.P.
and Home Improvement.
Well, yeah, the Home Improvement, that's all done. Do you notice Chris Allport sets the stage in the very beginning where he comes in after he does a hell of a job cleaning the driveway out? Again, because there was
all
no
that snow. Yeah.
Where he comes in and he's talking about the oats and everything, and he looks up at the fan that he almost hits his head on, and he like makes this face where he like engages with it and like makes a point to look at it, and then goes back and like keeps doing a line. That is a choice that a veteran actor does, because when Paul Daverow shows up later and you don't know it's Paul yet, you think it might be Jack Frost. He jumps up from reading, to go back to Josh's point about the I'm going to get you signed by Jack Frost, clipped Cosmo.
His anonymous
signed letter. He decides, this is where I'm going to hit my head on the ceiling fan light. And then he does it. And it's like just such a payoff.
Yeah.
I have not noticed that either.
The best part about that too is that anonymous letter is like pinned on a bulletin board at the police station. There's a part in the movie where you hear beloved actor Scott McDonald scream, "I'm gonna get you!" And they do like a zoom in on the serial killer letter as he screams. It's like, why is that letter everywhere?
Then the only two times that he cusses is with FBI agent Manners, where he says asshole. And then when he jumps through the window holding Jack, he also calls him an asshole. So he does say the word asshole.
And then they fall into the back of the truck. And that scene is the equivalent of Bela Lugosi wrestling with a rubber octopus.
Yep.
He's got that snowman foam in a leg lock. It is just acting his ass off as if he's fighting something in that pit.
All right, let's take yet another break, and we will come back and finish this baby up.
I'm having a real good time here, fellas.
It's a great Christmas party, isn't it?
We're having
It
a
is.
blast. We'll be back.
Life's a bitch, Eddie. First you sin and then you die. In my case, they piss on you.
Dammy, why? Why do you do it to
Why,
me?
Demi? Why?
This is a cursed episode.
I love it.
This
From
is
tip to taint, we're cursed.
I love it.
I don't know that I have any more Allport notes.
I guess a couple.
Okay,
I do
go
have
ahead.
one very big issue with Jack Frost that I discovered this week. It finally dawned on me. And then we can move on to the rest of the episode that we haven't got to. The Stooge Stone from the company, GCC,
Yeah, the nerd.
the nerd, says that his entire study and theory needs to bond a human essence to an inert property.
Yeah, like water.
Water is not an inert substance.
I know. Well, it technically was snow at the time.
Snow is not an inert substance. An inert substance chemically would be the noble gases.
I would like to disagree with you because hip hop's sensation Snow, who performed Informer,
Yes,
he is definitely an inert substance.
Yeah. 12 inches of snow was the name of his album.
Yeah, 12
Which
inches
is
of
fucking
substance.
hilarious.
Yeah, well, Danny from Elves is a yard.
So you're saying possibly this wasn't very thoughtful.
I
in
mean,
the
if you're
science
gonna-
department.
If you're gonna pull horse shit out of your ass,
Oh, come on. You're just loving on a movie with a ancestral Nazi rape
because
plot.
it's so absurd, it doesn't matter. But
So
they
is
really,
this. So is this.
Was
Come
Agent
on.
Manners an X-File member?
We can't start splitting hairs about how shitty these plots are. Or we're going to be in trouble going forward.
I would argue that the plot of Elves was not shitty at all. It was a lot to take in.
You know what else happened last night besides my wife letting me watch Elves again this week? We watched Jack Frost. And you know what I heard?
Why would you do that?
Well,
Why would you
I
do
mean
that?
for the podcast.
Okay,
I didn't watch it twice.
But I mean,
did not watch.
Back to back, though. Why would you do that to yourself?
Well, some people just have to live pain. Anyway,
this is a great office Christmas party.
I heard during Jack Frost, real
Can we get the music back on for this?
maybe,
Yeah, for the
Maybe.
final segment.
yeah. I heard real laughter from the other side of the couch during Jack Frost.
Oh, no, you did.
Yeah, because it's hilarious.
My wife, God love her, had real guffaws during the rocker scene where he's like, take your foot off the rocker.
Ugh.
And then later on, when the deputy, which Jared completely forgot about this in his fever a few weeks ago, where the deputy gets run over by Jack Frost in his own patrol car.
I still have not seen that.
Oh, it happens.
Slow the movie down from 1.5 and watch it for real like the rest of us do.
Maybe it's not on the YouTube.
My
feed that I
wife laughed during that.
Man. Yeah, because
Listen.
she has good taste. We share a birthday, and we both think it's a very funny movie.
To her defense, if you're going to laugh at any quote jokes in this movie, those are probably two of the funniest bits.
In week 3.
Yeah.
They missed Josh earlier. You commented that elves. You're like, take note, Jack Frost. That's how you do a
Bathtub kill scene.
bathtub
Yeah.
kill. And I was thinking when I watched it tonight, they really missed an opportunity. They could have predated the Jason X freezer where he freezes the guy's head and then smashes it, and there's like the brain slushy.
Sure.
They really missed a chance to do that with just having Shannon Elizabeth being like frozen in the bathtub, and instead of raping her in the weird like
He just smashes her.
yeah, he could have just like smashed her into like weird,
Dude, they missed it. They could have
anatomical
even
ice
done
cubes.
even doing a carrot coming up from the water between her legs in an ode to Nightmare on Elm Street would have been better than what they did.
Yeah.
Well, they did do that.
No, they didn't.
No, there's a carrot floating in the water before.
There's a carrot that just like pops up in the water beside her thigh that doesn't really have the same effect.
Oh, okay. The other thing about that whole sequence is that is when the movie really grinds to a halt. Like
Oh,
up
that's when
until
it grinds to a halt.
I mean, up until back to the character assassination of my wife. Um, like yeah,
Or
like the movie is
glorification.
enjoyable.
She's really gonna love you after this episode.
This will be our last Merry Christmas in the house. But no, like the movie is unfortunately enjoyable up until the whole break in to Sheriff Tyler's house.
The last
And then
25
that just
minutes
drags.
the last 25 minutes is just pitiful.
So touch on that. Go ahead.
I just got 2 quick notes, and
Yeah.
then I'm going to be done. Why does why is it so hard for the sheriff to bend down and pick up his keys at that part where they're trying to get out of the basement of the boiler room, and he drops their key ring, and for like 30 seconds he's like there's no obstructions in his way. He literally just has to bend over and pick up the keys on the floor.
He's got old hips.
No, but then the next scene he's like jumping out the window without any problems. Why?
Because it's a routine. It is just a Three Stooges routine.
Did you look into did you guys look into the background of this movie?
Did it die in an avalanche?
So this movie was written because the screenwriter, director, and his partner were taking a cabin vacation during the winter, and there was a snowman that was built right outside their bedroom window of the cabin, and his partner commented on how creepy it was. And so then they started talking about how awesome it would be to have this movie about a killer snowman that was stalking people. The original idea for this was to have it be like a high budget action horror movie in line with like Terminator 2, with all these crazy special effects sequences, and the third act of the movie would actually take place in a skyscraper.
Yeah.
You
know what you need for that? Money.
And that's what they wrote the script to be.
Talent.
And then it didn't sell, and then finally got picked up with a $500,000 budget. So they quickly realized that they wouldn't be able to film it the way they wanted, and they had to start rewriting it. And then things got worse because of the special effects company that they hired was supposed to make like multiple Jack Frost puppets to use in the movie. And when they showed up to look at them, they had one puppet, and it was an immovable snowman made of foam.
Now they did actually have 3, and the worst one is the one they burnt.
Wow.
Because only one of your killer snowmen could move its arms.
Yeah, but I guess like the point of this is like they had to rewrite the script multiple times every time they figured out their limitations. And later the writer director said, he's like, basically this movie had the catering budget of another movie that I wrote, and that movie was Identity, starring John Cusack. And
was Identity
and Amanda Peet, I think.
Yeah, and, that's a good movie.
It's a great movie. So this dude has some good abilities, but he just couldn't do it on a $500,000 budget. And the whole reason he directed it is because the film studio told him they wanted him to direct it that way they wouldn't have to pay any more money to have somebody else direct it.
Well, yeah, because wasn't he's British, like he was kind of like was he in the Directors Guild or what?
Oh, I didn't get that far too.
Yeah, there's some reason why that guy ended up directing it. Because again, when the film was done in '94, but they ran out of money.
Yeah,
and someone finally financed them in '97 and slapped that sweet ass cover on the VHS.
But when I read that he did Identity, I'm like, so something bad happened here. Like, by the time they went around to actually making this movie, he was all out of fucks to give.
Yeah. But he does the voiceover in the beginning.
He sure does.
Oh, he does. Oh no.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
him doing the monologue, or not the monologue, but the little story tell.
I'm not a fan of that.
Oh, and I guess my last note is the sheriff's child, is he supposed to be special needs?
I think he's
Is
supposed
that
to
the correct
be.
thing?
I think he's supposed to be the local Dungeons and Dragons dweeb.
Well, because twice in the movie when he's making the antifreeze butterscotch concoction,
Oats.
Calls them oats.
he lifts the spoon and smiles and says, "I made special." And then he does it again later on in the movie. He's like, "Look, Dad, I made special." And so I'm wondering, like, did they just not get the point across that this child, has some developmental problems, or was that like what choice was that?
I'm not sure that they were sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't pick up on that.
They definitely made it out like he was an inside kid.
That for sure, yes.
Now, I don't know that he. And by the way, Jared, he doesn't get picked up by his ankles by his mom. He does get picked up.
What? I never said that.
Or was that Josh? I was all about blowing holes in people's takes this week.
You
my takes.
you didn't see his mother lift him over her shoulder. as he's,
No, like
giggling and
she picks him up
throws him over her shoulder.
at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, she picks him up, but she doesn't like fireman carry him or anything.
Yes, she does.
She puts
I
him
think
in,
we're
like,
all watching different versions of this movie because
How
I don't
many
know what you're
cuts?
talking about. I haven't seen the guy get run over with a car. I haven't heard the guy muttering under his breath. And I've watched this goddamn things more times than I ever would have wanted to in my life, and I've seen none of these things.
Will you please, we have to watch it this week, just watch it pure on Amazon Prime at
No.
regular speed.
No, because I'm not doing that.
That's what this podcast is about. It's about pain and suffering.
Is it free to watch on Amazon Prime?
Yes.
I watched it on Amazon Prime then. That's always my go-to.
Well, you and I see the same thing then, and there is no
I will
throwing
screen cap
that
it
kid over the shoulder.
Listen here, brother.
I'm gonna go down to the ring.
She tosses him over her shoulder like she's the fucking Undertaker.
No. Agree to disagree, because it in the spirit of Christmas at our Christmas party that we're sharing with the listeners. I don't want this to evolve
Christmas party
into an argument.
Still going.
All right. What are we watching next week?
Whoa, you're jumping the gun. First, I still have one more note that I want to get to. Last one.
This is our annual 3-hour episode.
Jesus Christ. What my last one that I really want to move on. When towards the end, when Sam runs into the house and he starts knocking on doors after he's like trying to stuff up the main entrance with like paper towels and shit to keep the water from coming in, then he runs upstairs and starts
when he's
knocking
suddenly
on
in
doors.
like a bed and breakfast.
Yeah, and like every door he knocks on, there's apparently people fucking in there.
My wife says that's
Where
a
is
bordello.
he?
My wife says there is a
thought it
bordello
was his
in
house.
Snowminton. No.
Those are the cultists who are celebrating the summoning of their elder god by debauchery.
No. The
I
first
don't
is
think it's a bordello. It's a bed and breakfast, and everyone that's shacked up in there is is fornicating with
Fornicating.
someone who is not their partner.
The first door is
They're
just
in there. They're in there with faces full of step-ins.
the first door
Sniffing the steppins.
is a man who maybe is just sniffing step-ins. It's a singular voice. The second voice is a man and a sheep. And then the third voice may or may not be Deputy Joe and Marla. I think they're in an apartment complex in Snowmaton County.
Well, then Marla has a husband.
What?
What?
Because if you have the subtitles turned on like I did after trying to figure out what...
I did have the subtitles on.
Well, those voices go on to say...
subtitles do not
True. All right.
equal.
Established. Yes, you're right.
The subtitles go on to say, it's my husband. And then it's like a bunch of like, I'll hide under the bed, I'll do this, I'll do that.
What?
Like going on in the background. Like, yeah.
No.
All right.
Yes.
So that proves my wife's point that it's a bordello.
No, it's a bed and breakfast.
What's the difference? Just a madam. That's the only difference. Do you get a breakfast in the morning when you wake up, or do you have to be out after an hour?
Well, one you pay by the hour and one you pay by the night, friend.
That's what we're saying.
It's a bed and breakfast.
Happy holidays.
Happening under the sheriff's nose. All right, for God's sakes, let's end this. Do you guys have any other things to say about the third time?
I said way too much about Jack Frost.
I thought we were going to have a second game for Christmas tonight.
We could. Oh. Do you want a second game? It's the office party. Anything goes. I don't have one.
I feel like some of us need to eat.
Let's play a game.
Oh, jeez.
Let's play a game called Eat Dinner.
Okay.
All right. So let's go through. We'll each give our summations of what we thought about each movie. You do not pick who loses yet, and then we'll count down to 3 and give the loser of the matchup. I'll go ahead and start. I did not. Well, I guess to be fair, I literally, and I don't say this to be funny, like I could not tell what the fuck was happening in Elves for a good bit of that runtime. So it could have been good. It could have not been good. I have no idea. I didn't enjoy what I watched at all. I guess there were some funny parts. I don't know. I found it to be, and I'm no prude, I just thought it was fucking gross and stupid, and I didn't have fun with it. I was mad that I watched it, and I'm mad at you for picking it, Aaron. But that's the exercise of this show. Jack Frost continues to just be bad, and I try to find ways to make it worthwhile, and I can't. And we'll see who I choose.
Here at the end of the Christmas party, we find a man defeated by his choices in life.
I'm going to hang myself with some tinsel after this.
A man who applauded a vampire happening calls Elves gross.
It's fucking gross. It's incestual Nazi shit that you're supposed to be like, oh, I'm on board with this, Grandpa.
No, you're not. No, you're not at all. No.
No.
I didn't like it. I didn't like watching it. I hated it. But I also hated Jack Frost, and we'll see what I pick.
Okay.
Who's next?
Counterpoint. Elves, as I said before, is Dan Haggerty reaching out to you drowning in the middle of your seasonal depression, a helping hand to pull you up from the depths of your own horse shit, to imagine a better life and a better way of life, and that you don't have to be alone. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa, and his name is Dan Haggerty. And I would say, all the Nazi shit aside, this movie needs a 4K restoration yesterday. And then there's Jack Frost. Josh?
Okay. All right.
And I want to be clear. Like, it's not. Sorry, Josh. I want to be clear. Like, it's not the fact that there is Nazism in this. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, that's fine, whatever. It was just so fucking poorly handled. Whatever. I don't need to get into it, but I just don't want it. Like, whatever.
No,
I'm done.
you're right. It was poorly handled. It was way too much plot for an hour and a half of runtime. The movie was all over the place. It was complete chaos. Uh, but I don't know why. I loved Elves by the end of it. Actually, I do know why. It was because of a man who can afford his own donuts and coffee. But once he buys those donuts and coffee, he will share them with you.
That's right.
And then he'll share a cigarette. And that man is Dan Haggerty. And if there was anybody else in that role, I don't know that I would have liked this movie as much. But something about that dude just
Grizzly fucking Adams saved this movie for
the
you. You guys are insane.
The epitome of the Christmas spirit, Jared, which you need a little bit more in your heart.
He belongs in the halls of Eat the Buckle Valhalla with Max from Mad Men.
Absolutely.
That's
and then there's Jack Frost, which is just the worst, lamest waste of time and fake snow that I've ever seen. I'm sad to hear that the actor that played the sheriff fell to tragedy, ironic tragedy, but doesn't change my perception of the movie. It's a piece of shit. It's a waste of time. I fucking hate Jack Frost.
all right. Well, let's give our picks. Who loses this match and eats the buckle on 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1.
Jack
go.
Frost.
Elves. Well, I guess we're watching Elves.
No, we're watching Jack Frost.
We're watching Jack Frost.
Oh yeah, Jack Frost. Hey,
Josh and I know what's going on.
Wait a minute. Do we have to explain the rules to you, sir?
Yes, sir. Your podcast that you asked us to help host.
I just want this to end. I was asleep 20 minutes ago. What's it going up against? The next movie in the show ho down is To All a Good Night.
All right.
Is this the last one?
No.
How many more do we have?
We'll have
3?
a Christmas week and a New Year's week. There's 2. One more after this.
All right.
Okay.
Or not. The fans don't have to know that, but now they do.
Well, I mean, we decided to blow out the.
Yeah, it can go on to New Year's Eve. Still, New Year's week is still Christmassy.
It's Orthodox. We're going all the way through Orthodox Christmas.
Yeah,
we'll still have holiday faces then.
What's that?
I said we'll still have our holiday faces on then.
Oh, sure.
I'll be wearing this goddamn Santa hat still into February because I'm so happy about Christmas.
You really need Dan Haggerty in your life, man.
Fuck Dan Haggerty and
Dan
fuck
Haggerty,
that shitty movie. I'm just
RIP.
glad. I'm very glad I don't have to watch it again. Check
I'm
us
gonna
out
watch it again on my own.
Check us out on Blue Sky at we're Buckle Pod, and you can email us at what is it?
bucklepod@gmail.com.
Yep, for all your questions, concerns.
We're done trying to figure out the Zuckerberg metaverse. So
it ain't
for the time
happening.
being, we won't be on Instagram, Threads, or Facebook. But we'll explore other avenues.
If you want to share in Dan Haggerty photos, email us at bucklepod@gmail.com. We'd be happy to send you some and receive some.
I would love to get random photos of Dan Haggerty just hanging out with people
throughout the day.
I bet he didn't. I bet he was big timing everybody on that set. He's like, I'm fucking Grizzly. I'm sorry. I'm Grizzly Adams. Don't come near me. Don't look me in the eye. Just go get me some crackers and I'll be in my trailer.
He was just looking for a job.
I don't know why you're so anti such a beautiful truth of a man.
Because I'm going to be honest with you. This is my least favorite movie I've watched this entire run of this fucking podcast.
I love it.
I hated it.
This is my favorite movie.
I'm happy for you that you like it
I'm
that
so
much.
glad
I truly
that
am.
I had a reason to watch it. I had the chance to watch it, and we watched it, and I loved it. And I am going to hound everybody who does these boutique releases.
I hope they make one for you. I do.
Listen, I can't say this is my favorite movie we've watched. We've watched Planet Terror. We've watched some awesome movies, but I will say of the toilet paper on the shoe movies we've watched, this is probably the best.
Well, in the words of the quote unquote great Dan Haggerty, thank you for your time and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Buckle Buddies. Wait, are we doing one more before Christmas? Doesn't matter. They won't hear it till after.
We'll
Merry
see.
Christmas, Buckle Buddies.
And may God bless.
Life is long and life is hard. But Kevin's is thick and Dave's is a yard. Shut up. Whatever. Just let me finish up here.
Dave's isn't really a yard, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.